Hey, what's up everybody? Today I wanted to take a look at the Trick or Treat Studios 1/6 scale Michael Myers from Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. And I wasn't really planning on picking up any of these figures. The initial prototypes looked pretty darn good except for the sculpted hair. And then when I started seeing the first in-hand photos, especially of that first 78 Michael Myers, I wasn't really super impressed with them. And then I saw a couple reviews of them and I wasn't really impressed. And then I saw some people that are more in the 1/6 horror realm start getting them and start doing some stuff to them. And I started seeing that these maybe had some potential, so that when I actually came across this guy at a local comic shop the other day, I decided to pull the trigger and pick them up. They had both part 5 and part 4, but I don't need part 5. I just don't care for that design all that much. At least right now, I don't need it at all. So I just went with this guy. And I gotta say, it's a bit of a mixed bag. It's about what I would expect from Trick or Treat Studios, to be quite honest, because, some parts of it are really done well, some parts of it are not done all that well. So basically this thing is a straight up standard 6 scale figure in terms of what you get with it. He doesn't come with a lot of stuff. We get the 2 hands he has here, and then we also get a gripping hand. So all of his hands are sculpted to have that burnt detail there on them. So that works. That makes sense from, the end of part 2 that he's got the burns and everything. They're a little Freddy Krueger looking, but it works for the character. The palms are not burnt. Let's see if I can get a good look there. Yeah, the palms are pretty regular on them. Just the top of the hands are burnt. Because when you're in a room that's just engulfed in flames, that's exactly how fire hits you, right? But the hands are decent. The other accessory it comes with is a knife, of course, because it's Michael Myers. But there's a problem with the knife. At least my knife. So you can see the handle there, and you can see that it does not have a blade on it. And the blade is here. So overall, when it's in one piece, it's not a bad little knife. It's a nice metallic shine there on the blade. The sculpt looks decent for a standard butcher knife. The real problem is that the hand here that you get has a hole in it that is just not large enough to accommodate the handle of the knife properly. So let's see if I could do it here live on camera. So when you stick it in the hand, it really doesn't want to go all that well. And when I was trying to take it out for this review, the blade came off like you saw there. And I thought maybe that was intentional. Maybe it's some of the NECA accessories where you're supposed to put up the handle through the bottom of the hand and then it slides in real easy. And then the blade was supposed to just peg back in the top. That's not the case. It is legitimately broken. It does not go back together at all. But I can glue that back together, I guess. And honestly, unless I'm going to have him posed where he's in a more stabbing motion instead of the slashing motion, I don't really anticipate taking this out of his hand all that much. But next time I'll use some hot water or something to loosen up his grip, because goddamn that it was a disappointment there. I think they did okay with the head sculpt. There's something about it that's just off, that's bugging me, and I can't put my finger on it. It looks okay. It's a goofy looking mask anyway. It's a really bland looking mask, but I feel like maybe they tried to bring in some more elements of the 78 mask into the Halloween 4 mask. It just doesn't look quite right. I think the nose looks like it may be a little big. I'm kind of looking off. I have an autographed photo from George P. Wilbur up on the wall, and it has it's the scene where the mask is reflected in the mirror, and I'm kind of comparing. I think the nose is definitely too big, and I think the hair maybe sticks up a little too much. It's coming off the top of his head just a bit too much there. The eyes are blacked out. There's no real texture inside the eyes. I was kind of hoping maybe they would give it a texture like it was a mesh inside there, but they're just kind of black inset eyes. We do have the extension on the collar there sculpted in, and if we flip him around, you can see he does have a little bit of shading in the hair. There's also some kind of seam lines in the hair, which sucks. And even up here at the top, I have a little bit of extra paint from some of that dry brushing. But we do have the slit down the back of the neck, and you could also see there's some weathering going on there on the mask to kind of make it look darker and dirtier below the hairline. So, crap, now the head's coming off. That is one thing also, when I first got this thing, one of the things, I think it comes with a collar down, so it makes the head look huge in comparison to the rest of the body. Once you pop the collar up, it looks a little better, and you kind of have to press it down a little further onto the body to get it to look really right. Going down a little bit further, we have his coveralls here. I think they're decently done. If I remember right, this is pretty close to the pattern that was on the real ones. They kind of had this stripy effect going on. There's there's this little zipper pull here that kind of tends to stick out. And every time I move it, it seems to want to stick back out again. And it doesn't really hide underneath that gap there. If you unzip that, I'm not going to because I don't really want to mess it up right now. He does have a black t-shirt on underneath. You can kind of see a little bit of it up there. It looks, I didn't get the jumpsuit all the way off him, but it looks like it may actually be at least like a half shirt. I know people were complaining because for the 78, they just kind of give him like a smock and it wasn't really a shirt. It was just enough shirt to get by for this look. From what I could tell, this looked like it was at least a bit of a shirt. Actually, you know what? Let's just look. This feels weird, but you know what? But yeah, if we unzip the coveralls, you could see like it definitely looks like there is a shirt. I can't tell around the back, but he's got a shirt on. We'll zip that back up. He also does have the little silver snaps there at the top. They don't function, but they're there for detail. But I like that he has the one, flap on the one pocket. The other one is open. Is this actually a pocket? Yeah, it is actually a functioning pocket. That's cool. And then we got the pockets around the side as well. The ones in the back, it's kind of cinched in the back with that bit of elastic. It's got that kind of long pocket there on the side as well. Nothing too fancy going on with the sleeves. They're just kind of, there's a little button on the inside of them. Nothing crazy. You take a look. The boots are pretty nicely detailed. They're just kind of black combat boots. They have the silver eyelets on there. The paint doesn't look like it's super clean, but it's clean enough. And they actually did do a little bit of weathering there at the bottom of the feet, which I like. Maybe he's been walking around the dirt and mud for a while, so that's pretty cool. The one place besides the accessories that this thing kind of falls apart a little bit is with the articulation. So the head is on a ball joint, so you can get that classic Michael Myers tilt out of it, side to side, forward and back. You could also rotate it side to side as well. It does tend to want to pop off. It's just on a ball joint, so it's easy enough to pop it back on. The shoulders will go pretty far forward. It's really limited by the clothing. They'll go back. Ooh, do they go back? There we go. Okay, so the joint's a little ratchety in there, so okay, you can get more range. I was just afraid to move it too much. So he's got a ratcheting shoulder joint. It will also go out to the side. Not quite 90 degrees. That's a bit weird. Feels like we have a swivel at the elbow. It's only a single jointed elbow, so about 90 degrees of movement. And then you could rotate there. We have the stock standard 1/6 style hinge wrists where you could rotate and move in whatever direction depending on where you have that hinge aligned, and then also just swivel out the wrists anyway. Let's see, it feels like we have a ball joint here at the mid torso and one also maybe at the waist, so you can kind of use those in conjunction. He doesn't bend forward very far, bends back a little bit. He'll swivel side to side just a little bit. He will rotate though pretty well at that joint. At the leg, you can kick pretty far forward, not so much back. You could rotate at the upper leg. We have a double joint there at the knee and a ball joint at the foot, which you actually get an okay range out of despite him having the tall boots on. And let's go grab my other two from that era at least. So here's my partly one's custom 78, my 81. Now these are both on stands, so they definitely sit a little taller right now than this guy does. But really, there's not really a huge comparison to make here. These coveralls for this guy were a little more mass produced. Really, the head sculpt's the only thing really special about it. This guy, the head sculpt's painted by me, so it kind of sucks, but the sculpt is by One's Customs. Coveralls are custom made, the scalpel's custom made, and then this guy being fully mass produced, there's definitely, something to be desired there. It looks maybe a little too clean. It looks maybe a little too stiff. And the head sculpt just doesn't stack up to these other two for sure. But you know what? For what it is, I think it's maybe not the best value ever. I feel like I've paid about the same for other figures that have come with more in this scale. But I think if maybe they threw in like another weapon or a pumpkin with them or something, it would have upped the value a little bit. And I think there is still some tweaking to do here. I kind of want to add like some shoulder pads in there to give him more of that George Wilbur look. I want to maybe even just replace the body under there so that it's a more posable body and something that I use more like for these two guys here. And, just give him that look that makes him more on par with these other figures. But I don't know. It feels a little lacking. as much as I want to talk myself into saying it's a really good figure for what it is, I know you could do better at this price point and this scale and everything. So it is a little lackluster. I'm still curious to see how their 2018 version comes out. That's the other one I was kind of tempted to pick up. I don't know if I'm going to. I really don't. The other downside I forgot to mention is the hands do look a little big and awkward. Like even side by side, I'm looking at them like, I don't think they're really that much bigger, but I think it's that they stick out a good amount past the sleeves, where these guys, you could see they're kind of tucked up into the sleeves a little more natural looking. So maybe if I do replace the body, it'll also help with that bit as well. But yeah, it's a mixed bag. I'll just leave it at that. It's a mixed bag figure. It's not great, not perfect, but it also is a relatively easy way to get a Part 4 Myers in your collection, and that's really never been an option before, so it's cool in that regards on its own. But yeah, I feel like I've rambled enough about this guy. Let me know in the comments what you think of him, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.